Mr. Johnson, you go to a couple of these parties too. Did you notice any damage when you were partying?
No, not a lot of this. I wouldn't wander around the entire house. So like, go in, say hi to a few of the people I may know who just left the club or whatever, and then we leave.
Because the damages here, I just don't understand how a burglar would even care about. What am I even looking at? What is this?
Those are drop ceiling tiles.
Why would they go and damage the ceilings?
I don't know.
It would seem more probable that it happened during a party, that you have maybe 3 or 4 times a month.
I would have noticed it though.
How? You said you were drunk. You
Right, but I wake up. And when I wake up, I look around.
And you do an inventory or something of the place?
You notice stuff. You're like, ooh, it's a
yeah,
hole
you wonder
over
how
there.
that happened, right?
Not necessarily how it happened, but you say like, ooh, that's a new hole. Let me call Brandan.
That's a new hole. Let me call Brandan. So, okay, I'm gonna go through these photos and you tell me.
Okay.
What about this?
No, that was there.
That was there before the burglary.
That was there.
Okay. What about this page?
Okay, so that I recognize that from a party.
So a party?
Yeah.
Okay. This?
Okay, that was from the burglar.
Well, I mean, it looks like a hole in the wall, just like the previous picture.
Right, but I think that I don't know if they like kicked the wall. Maybe they.
It looks like a burglary type hole.
It was there from the burglar.
All right. What about this?
I don't know nothing about it.
Mr. Johnson, can you tell us what this is actually?
So the pipe that connects to the toilet that gives like the supply line, that was yanked out of the wall.
I would have loved to have seen this place prior to the damages. Because I know you said that she saw it on Facebook. It would have been nice to see the condition of your place.
In the meantime, let me ask you this. Did you owe any rent, Ms. Askew, when you left?
I did. I owed some rent because he took forever to come and fix the stuff, so I didn't feel the need to pay.
Okay, and what months was rent owed for?
It was September, October, November, December. Like, so the last 4 months I was there, I didn't pay. But like I said, that's also because stuff needed fixed and he was taking his time to fix the stuff.
Did he fix anything that was damaged in September?
He did come and fix some stuff. Like he came and he patched some of the holes in the walls or whatnot.
Like this, like the patched walls?
Yeah, so like there was...
She did that.
Did you patch this wall yourself?
I tried to help because of the
Okay.
simple fact that he was taking forever.
Okay.
And we were friends.
Yeah.
We were friends, so I
It did not
tried.
look like a professional wall patch, but you tried.
No, that's YouTube.
That's YouTube.
And as you can see, my handiwork ain't the best.
Thank you, Officer Monk. No? Ooh, you had a nice spot.
I did. If he would have kept it nice,
If he would have kept it nice.
Yeah, because if he would have went ahead and fixed the stuff
you
when it
would've bust
happened, it
holes
would
in
have
the
stayed nice.
I think we've heard enough. We're going to excuse both of you. Thank you very much, and we will deliberate on this matter and resolve it.
Thank you both. This courtroom is now in recess. Well, I think a lot of the disconnect here, in my mind, turned on the fact that I think Ms. Askew didn't really quite understand the nature of the landlord-tenant relationship and the landlord's obligation to repair damages, right? It's one thing if you have a leak in your apartment, you call the landlord, they come over and fix the pipe. What you don't get to do is throw massive parties and then kind of wake up in the morning and say, another hole, let me call Brandan, and then kind of expect that because you're a renter instead of a homeowner, the landlord is just gonna come and gratuitously fix whatever's wrong. So I think these are definitely not normal wear and tear. The parties were not normal. She said so herself. Epic parties, epic damages.
She was proud of it, too. She threw massive parties.
And she admits that she did not pay rent for 4 months because of the failure to make a lot of these, repairs. And I don't think that's reasonable under the circumstances. No. So unless these burglars were practicing their construction work, it just kind of doesn't make sense that they would stop and mess with her drywall on the way out. So I'm inclined to give him the full amount. He's more than established $4,000 in damages and at least a couple of $1,000s in back owed rent.
And I think there was just blurred lines with the friendship.
Yes.
And tenant. So she expected him to do things because he's a friend and didn't necessarily understand that this was a tenant, landlord.
There doesn't seem to be any malice
No.
at all in terms of this. So.
All right. I think we have a unanimous verdict.